Hey, welcome to Vaping Zone University. Today's Vaping 102 class is the T2 Clearomizer. We're going to talk a bit about how to fill it, how it works, and then we'll give it a vape. Let's get started. You can see here in the tank we go 2.4 milliliter down to 0. When filling this tank, be mindful that you always want to keep the wicks wet with e-liquid, so you want to try and keep the tank as full as possible. Now, we also have a top cap which unscrews, like so. And you have a wick and coil assembly which is replaceable, as you can see here. Now, these wicks feed into a coil which is in the center of this air pipe. Whenever we replace, we seat it back on to the air pipe in the tank and make sure it is screwed snugly, not too tight, but snugly back into the tank. Now let's fill it up. Take your bottle of your favorite e-liquid, place it right on the pipe, not the side of the tank, but the pipe, and let the juice run down into the tank. As you see, that works quite nicely. You always want to make sure that your wicks are fully saturated and we get them wet. I sometimes like to spin the tank to make sure we can get e-liquid on the other side of the wick there. And fill it up just to the top of the tank so it's touching where the wicks meet the coil. Now, I take out at this point a paper towel and right there in the center I'll place one drop of e-liquid, replace the top cap, just finger tight, never over tighten. If you are over tightening, what will happen is pressure will go down onto that wick and coil assembly and it will cause the wick to choke and e-liquid will fail in its feeding to the coil. That leads to burnt taste and bad vapor. Now that we've got our top cap on, we'll take a few more drops of e-liquid, say 1, 2, 3. Maybe 4. And like we're blowing out our birthday candles, hold a napkin there and blow. One good time to make sure. At this point, we'll set the tank on its side and set it aside for 10 or 15 minutes. This will give ample opportunity for that e-liquid to soak into the coil and soak into the wicks and make sure you have great flavor and great vapor. Let's give that a second and we'll take a vape. Okay, now that we've given our tank ample opportunity to soak up that e-liquid, we'll put it back on top of our eGo battery slowly and making sure that we never over tighten, just finger tight. Let's give this a vape. Now in doing so, remember, vaping is not like smoking an analog cigarette. It's more like taking a sip out of a straw. You press the button, turns on. That's good vapor. Now keep in mind, as you vape, the e-liquid is going to get lower into the tank, and the wicks here on the top of the tank. So, always being mindful to feed e-liquid into the wicks. Sometimes you may have to hold the tank and the battery at an angle as you vape. Always ensuring great vapor and great flavor. I hope this has been an informative video and I wish you happy vaping.